Cimoooooooo!
What's going on, guys? It's Cimoooooooo. Today I wanted to bring you a review of Card of Demise. Now, for those of you that might remember my series Tech Tuesday, rather than doing Tech Tuesday from here on out, I'm actually going to start doing more of card reviews rather than specific, I guess, techs, if you want to call it that way. Mainly because the limiting two factors of Tech Tuesday were techs and the fact that it was on Tuesdays. So I kind of wanted to broaden it a lot more to discuss a lot more cards and also do it more than once a week. So bad thing is Tech Tuesday is going away. Good thing is you're going to be getting a lot more content of a lot more cards that aren't necessarily techs or anything like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get back right into Card of Demise. Now, the reason I really wanted to discuss this card is for several reasons. I just talked about it a little bit in kind of beating how you can beat Cleefort Demise and things of that nature, but this card is really having such a profound impact on the game and the meta that I really feel like it deserves some sort of recognition. And the reason being is that at the time of recording this video, we had YCS Providence and we also had the German Nationals happen over the weekend. And what happened is that we saw that Card of Demise is actually really fucking good. Now, a lot of us already knew that, but we're seeing it now on a high competitive level that decks like Cleefort Demise, Yosenju Demise, these decks are capable of topping events, and that's really awesome. We saw it topping a bunch of regionals and things like that before, but now we really get to see just how good this card is. And now, I know that Card of Demise decks aren't exactly taking up the entire, top 32 or top 64, but the fact that this one card is the sole reason that decks like Yosenju Demise and Cleefort Demise have the ability to compete in this meta is just amazing. It just kind of further just expands on the breadth of how deep the meta is going to go this time around, at least until we get the new ban list. And so that's just kind of what I wanted to discuss. For those of you who don't really know what Card of Demise does, it's basically anywhere up to a +2. You activate the card and draw up to 3 cards, or rather until you're holding 3 cards. So you play it if it's the only card in your hand, and you draw 3, so it's a +2. But you can also just draw a little bit less, just depending on the circumstances with your hand. Now the downside is your opponent doesn't take any more damage, and also you have to discard your entire hand at the end phase. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. With decks we see, like Cleefort Demise and Yosenju Demise, the reason why it's so vital that these cards are in this deck is because they have the ability to go ahead and basically play out all of their traps because they play a very low monster count and a lot of traps. In the case of Yosenju, they play 2 or 3 Yosenju monsters, set all their traps, play Card of Demise, get that free +2, and then just have more weapons at their disposal. And it's the reason that these decks have several +2s, or up to +2s, I guess you can say, is that they have the ability to compete with these other meta decks. Because without them, without Card of Demise, these decks just get destroyed and obliterated because they have no chance. They get completely out-resourced by Monarchs, by Cosmo, Burning Abyss. It's a lot harder for them to keep up. Now granted, the floodgates that these decks play are also very profound as well. But as we've seen by Fraser Smith and some other players, Card of Demise is also good in a deck like Cosmo because not only are you getting that +2, but sending the monsters to the graveyard is actually perfect because you're playing a card like Call of the Haunted that you can revive your monsters like Dark Destroyer or anything that you really need to, so you're not really losing any advantage and you're digging deeper into your deck to get those traps like Cosmojo, Solemn Strike if you're playing it, Chaos Trap Hole, which is seeing a lot more popularity, just helping further your game state and preventing your opponent basically from doing anything on their turn and making it a lot more difficult for them. What I'm really interested to see is how Card of Demise evolves over time, because we've already seen, like I said, we have Cleefort Demise, Yosenju Demise, hell, and even Cosmo, like I said, has been playing this card. There's so many other strategies, though, that can implement this card and possibly make it work in the meta that we're currently in. I mean, hell, Gravekeepers are an amazing anti-meta deck because what you're seeing in a lot of these anti-meta decks is Necro Valley. And rather than playing Necro Valley in something like Clear Yosenju, why not play it in its own archetype when it's easily searchable through cards like Gravekeeper's Commandant, and it just makes it so that it's buffing your entire field at the same time. Another deck is Satellar Knights. Satellar Knights is another deck that's a very low monster count deck, but very high trap count. And it doesn't really give a shit if the monsters go to the graveyard because you play triple Call of the Hauntite, sometimes double the triple Oasis of Dragon Souls, to revive that Denever Altair to continue with your crazy plays. So Card of Demise can even work in a deck like Satellar Knights as well. I really think we're just kind of starting to scratch the surface with how good of a Card of Demise really is, and I really can't wait to see what else it's really going to be capable of doing. And I'm excited to see that it's actually giving some life into these rogue decks that we once thought were dead, and we thought the meta was a little bit stale, and not a lot of people are going to agree with me that playing against these decks is fun, but I've always been in favor of a diverse meta, and more decks to me the better, because I feel that really embodies the true spirit of the game. It's not really fun when there's only like 2 or 3 decks that you're playing all the time. I say the more decks the merrier, and the more decks that can be competitive, I think it's honestly better for the game overall. So that's my review of Card of Demise. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you next time.
Cimoooooooo!